Embarking and disembarking a boat cannot be compared to anything encountered on land. Transitioning from solid ground to a fixed pier to a floating dock to a gangway to an erratically moving watercraft can be a risky undertaking. Whenever people get on or off boats, they put themselves in harm's way. There's always a chance someone could fall, go overboard, or otherwise get hurt.
As boat operator, your duty to your guests starts when they arrive at the dock and runs until they step off your vessel. Any injuries that happen during that time could be your fault. Passengers must be properly instructed, and the process for boarding, disembarking, and loading gear designed to minimize risks. Jumping on or off the boat is not an option.
Passengers should be made aware when they're about to step from a stationary surface on or off a floating dock, which will be subject to the motion of rocking boats, wind waves, tidal currents, and wakes of passing vessels.
The level between a dock and the entry point on a boat is rarely even. The height difference changes with vessel movement, location of onboard embarkation points, and tidal changes. The space between a dock and a vessel can be wide or small. It'll be affected by the size and placement of fenders and sea conditions, making it a primary danger point.
This gap between boat and dock is often bridged with gangways, steps, or platforms of various types and sizes. Seaworthiness begins with safe access to the means of boarding.
The slope of a gangway is dependent on its length and will vary with tidal fluctuations and vessel movement. Protected harbors will be mainly calm, but in certain conditions, wind, waves, or wakes of passing vessels can make gangway movement a serious consideration. An anti-skid surface should be part of a safe gangway, and railings should be strong enough to withstand a passenger losing his or her footing and grabbing a hold of them.
It's important to understand load limits and be prepared with an appropriate means of crowd control for large groups of passengers arriving at the same time.
Sideways rolling movement of a boat from port to starboard, or changes in a vessel's pitch with its bow rising while its stern lowers, will cause a gangway to rise and fall. A vessel can surge forward or backward, or its bow and stern can pivot on an imaginary vertical axis, causing a gangway to slide on the dock. A boat's dock lines must be taut to minimize movement.
Steps or platforms can also even up the level between a boat and the point of onboard embarkation and disembarkation. Steps are often used when a dock does not provide enough space for a ramped gangway. Sometimes, nothing spans the gap between a platform and a vessel, with passengers literally having to take a leap of faith.
Ensure that the gangway, boarding steps, or platform you use is properly fitted and correctly attached to your boat. If boarding is by stepping onto a swim platform, make sure it's free of tripping hazards like dock lines.
Whichever means of access you employ, inform guests of the dangers and provide assistance. Most accidents are avoidable with proper precautions.
A safe practice to start with is life jacket wear. Require donning life jackets upon arrival dockside even before boarding, and keep them on throughout each cruise.
Tell guests not to crowd the entry and exit areas and ramps. Point out proper ways to board. Make sure passengers only get on your boat in the designated loading area. Keep them away from sensitive equipment like fuel tanks and engines while boarding. Be on hand to help as they board.
Keep the boat tightly secured to the dock. Use strong, properly configured dock lines in good condition with corrected knots.
Load any large luggage, parcels, or other gear separately from passenger boarding. Don't allow guests to carry items that compromise their balance or safety.
Remind passengers to stay seated and away from the sides of the boat while others board. As a final tip, give them a safety briefing as soon as everyone is on board. Don't shove off until passengers know the rules.
Recreational boats carry passengers who are not necessarily familiar with the motion of a boat on the open water. Due to the vessel's movement, the human body's balance may be disrupted. This can lead to a persistent feeling of a rocking motion even after disembarking and on solid ground ashore.
Before you dock, give another briefing, reminding everyone of where and how to safely disembark. After tying up, watch for guests suffering a sense of imbalance, and be prepared with safety procedures to help passengers disembarking from your boat, just as you help them in boarding.